Oh, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth Coffee Chat. Good to see you. Big hello to you guys online right now. Hope you're all awesome and well. Welcome to another terrific Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. Well, things are warming up out there. I'll do this again. For those who don't know, most of you do already. Jason Witten's my name. Been doing these live streams for a little while now about property investing over the years, the last 20 plus. I've done a bit of property investing myself, coached a few property investors across Australia and New Zealand in the many thousands. Matter of fact, along the way, learnt one or two things, and each morning get to share them with you crazy crew who are, maybe passionate into property investing just like me. So good to see you on this morning. Give us a shout out in the chat where you're coming in from, what you're up to. Donna, good morning to you. Hope you're having a good start to your terrific Tuesday. Today I thought we would talk about the idea, team. Hey, morning, Laura. The idea about how do people get wealthy, and why is it so damn difficult? Why is it bloody difficult to create some wealth that you and I, as regular people, get to enjoy now and into the future? And the challenge is, what do you guys think? Put it in the chat. What is the big challenge? The big challenge. There's probably a few, let's face it. But what is the big challenge? Well, the big challenge, as far as I can see, is that we don't understand about the flow of money. How money works when it comes to creating wealth. Hey, good morning, Jeff. And the challenge is getting out of bed. That's good to see. Mate, the challenge for many of us, the process of education and information is not geared towards us being taught in any significant way about wealth and money and, those things. So I think, I think that's a bit of a flaw in our process. But thankfully, you're here at the Wealth Coffee Chat this morning, and we're going to do a little bit of teaching. We're going to do a bit of learning from the idea of how do people become wealthy. And the concept that I've seen, and, this is not my idea. Many of you have seen this before. Put it in the chat if you've seen this before somewhere, somebody saying, how to do this, you need to pay yourself first. Give us a yes in the chat or a Y in the chat if you've seen this before. The idea, hey, you know what, Jeff, Laura, Donna, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. Folks, all you got to do is pay yourself first. Well, all right, that sounds fine, right? That sounds, yep, Sharon's heard it. Yeah, I've heard it. But hang on, what the bloody hell does that mean? How does that happen? How can we pay ourselves first? Here's the problem. Here's the challenge. For most people, Laura's heard it too, most people in the world of PAYG, which is you work for someone else. And to be honest, let's face it, for most small business owners, you own a job, you don't own a business. Now, that's not me saying that. That's a lot of understanding from this concept of wealth as well. But let's say PAYG. Let's say somebody earning $100,000, and you guys have seen me do this before. We break this down into. We break this down into days of the week. And you go, all right, well, how do I pay myself first? When on Monday, and shout it out if you already know who's getting paid first. Who gets paid first for someone PAYG? Are you getting paid first? Are you, Laura, getting paid first? Sharon, Jeff, Donna, are you guys getting paid first? You make 100K. Who gets their grotty hands on it? Straight up, folks. Straight up, the ATO gets their hands on it, right? Yeah, the government gets their big share, All right. And by and large, up here, this is 25%. Now, the tax rate might be more, folks. It might be 33 or whatever it is. But the dollar amount is 25% of that cash, right? The ATO get paid first. Now, do you get a choice in that? Folks, tell me in the chat, do you get a choice? You know what, ATO, I'm not going to get, I've heard this concept. I've heard the concept that I need to get wealthy, so I'm going to pay myself first and I'll pay you later. What do you reckon about that? Eh? They're not going to sit at the back, right? Okay, well, there you go, right? All right, this is interesting, right? Isn't it? So let's do this. Who gets a chunk of it next? The super companies. It's compulsory. It's 10.5%, 10.5% or whatever it is. So, for you and I, oh, hang on. We've got some dodgy sites here. Block and add to block list. All right. Don't click on those links, by the way. Sometimes there's spam bots that drop by on lives. Anyway, thankfully, we can block them and move on. So, the super companies get, money goes to the super companies. For many people, the super companies invest your money in things that, you probably wouldn't invest in. And then what happens? Who gets next? Who gets their money next, folks? All right? Who gets their money next? For most people, the bank gets paid next. The average Aussie's mortgage, and it's just gone up quite significantly, is over 33% of their after-tax income. All right, that's bank, by the way. Bank, by the way. That's the bank. So, ATO got paid first. Super companies got next. The bank got their money after that. And then you sort of spend 30 years paying off that loan. We've talked about this. And then what else happens? Credit card, HEX debt, et cetera, et cetera. Consumer debt. And if you're lucky, you got some of Friday, to get some food, some water. Anyway, hopefully you're not paying for it. Well, we all have to pay for water. Some fuel, school for the kids, some holidays, et cetera, right? And then you're like, what? How does that work? How is that working? How can I pay myself first? How can you pay yourself first? It's very difficult. It's hard. When it works like this. Thankfully, ladies and gents, we can do this. Let's flip the switch. Right? Jeff. Yeah, reach out to us, Jeff. We'll give you the heads up, man. We'd love you to pop by the office over there and chat to the crew. We'll organise it for you. But let's do this. Let's have a look at how we could flip the switch. How we can flip the switch on this one. All right. Anyone want to know? Give me a little yes in the chat. How do you want to flip the switch? Instead of these people getting paid first, up here, how did it work? ATO got paid first. Super companies got paid second. Bank got paid third. These people got paid fourth. And you were probably fifth, sixth, or seventh, or eighth, or hardly at all when it comes to your wealth, right? That's what happened. How do you, as an investor, get paid first, right? Takes a little bit of organising. However, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at what we might be able to do as investors, all right? Let's do this. As investors, if you own some real estate, ladies and gentlemen, what can you do when you own real estate, and especially new real estate? When you invest your hard-earned dollars, what can you do? Tell me in the chat. what happens as part of the process? Boom, Jeff. When you own real estate, don't miss this. Listen, come in close. Come in close. As a PAYG earner, this is how you pay yourself first. Now, business owners are different. I'm not talking about business owners today. Who gets paid first? You do. You, Jeff, gets his money, depreciation, right? You get to claim back your depreciation. You get dollars. Jeff gets his money. And you know what? Who comes next? Who comes after that? The ATO. Boom, folks. Boom. You take your dollars. From here, you own real estate. Not only do you get depreciation and that helps you with your cash flow, but now you are creating wealth for the future. For the future. That's how you get it. And you can claim it back weekly, fortnightly, monthly. Let's go back to that part. Your properties as an investor put you first. How's that? I like it. I like it. There's a lot of turkeys who go, oh, negative gearing doesn't work. Like, just shut up. They don't know what they're talking about. One isolated comment, irrelevant of a big picture. It does take strategy and tactics to make it work, and it's not one thing that suits everybody. But I can tell you right now, buy and hold properties that are new or newer with good depreciation puts you first, folks. Puts you first. I like it. So who's getting paid first? You are. You are getting paid first. I like that. All right, well, how do we even double down and triple down on this? How can we make this even more interesting? Well, who usually gets paid next? The super companies. If you increase your contributions, many smart investors, instead of having someone else invest their money, if it's appropriate, you've got to go see a financial planner and all those sorts of things. If it's appropriate, they do it themselves. So instead of just the 10.5%, some smart investors working with the right team and the right licensed appropriate people might increase that to the maximum they can contribute to super. Because tell me, what happens when you contribute? What's the tax rate of a contribution to super, folks? Tell me that in the chat. Boom, Jeff. Jeff's on it. Tell me how much. What's the percentage? Yep. Boom. I like that, Jeff. Mate, those properties flight to quality every day of the week, man. So tell me in the chat, 15%. So that's the tax rate. Let's say, what's the tax rate up here? 25%. So if it's appropriate, this is just talking out loud, concepts, strategies, tactics. So instead of paying 25% tax or 33%, if it's appropriate for you, you can contribute up to, at the moment, $27,500, and that's at a 15% tax rate. So you've just saved yourself another 10%. Who's getting paid? You are. Before. We could probably just flip that around, actually. We could put that before the ATO. Anyone feeling better now? Oh, you should be. You should be, because this is how it works, team. This is how you do it. For all of us as investors, we need to understand how to do this one. We need to understand, how to make it work. All right. Last but not least, in this gig, we need to think about our owner-occupier, our principal place of residence. For many of us, that's an essential part of what we're up to. However, instead of paying your property off in 30 years, let's pay your property off in 15 years. How can we do that? What do we do, ladies and gents, folks? What do we do, depending on how you've structured your payments and bits and pieces? When we have positive cash flow after tax and we claim it before the ATO, where do we put it next? Where do we put it next? If we have extra payments and we have extra cash available in our everyday cash flow and accounts, where does it go? Where do we put it? Put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. This is how we pay ourselves first, team. Boom, in the offset, folks. So if the cash flow comes from your properties, then you put it into your offset. Or sometimes if you're in the buffer, you can make an extra payment. You can accelerate your properties. And to be honest, this is what it looks like. Let's do this. Because here's what it looks like, team. Here's what it looks like. You are getting wealthy by putting yourself first with your properties, your SMSF, let's say, or whatever it is. That's not advice, by the way. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. All I'm saying is, if you want to be paid first and create wealth first, then there's ways to do it. And if it's appropriate, you should talk to the right person. Your SMSF or your super, and it doesn't have to be an SMSF. Let's face it, it doesn't even have to be SMSF. I'll rub that out because that's irrelevant, right? You can put extra into super, right? You can. There's some managers out there who probably do okay. And then when you got that money from your properties, you're making extra payments to the offset account and paying your debt down faster. And then after that, after all that's done, folks, then the ATO comes in fourth. Check that out. Who is winning now, right? 2, 3. You put them where they deserve to be. There, ladies and gents. And you know this credit card thing, we just eliminate that. You just get rid of that rubbish so there's no other problems in there. That's how it works. That's how you pay yourself first, team. That is how it works. That's how it works. Anyway, there you go. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Did that land? Because I can tell you, this is what you do. You rearrange what it looks like. And it's totally possible, but we're not taught it at school or anywhere else. You know, we're taught to, only look at our pay packet, after tax, net, what are you getting net, I'm like, hey, dude, let's look at the whole amount. Let's look at the gross and see what's going on. You're kind of like just hands up in the air. Net, rubbish. There are ways to manage that. And for business owners, ladies and gents, folks, it's, it's different. And sometimes for the right business owner, it can be even more powerful. So there you go. Who gets paid first now? Who get paid first now? You are being paid first now. You. There we go. You're winning. Smiling. Anyway, all good. All right, folks, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Remember this one. You need to know how to get paid first. It's actually pretty straightforward, but we're not taught the sequence and the process. And it does take a little bit of run-up. It's not an instant thing, as everyone would know when it comes to real estate investing. Nothing's instant in that game. And so it shouldn't be. I don't like instant things. Instant things can be like Bitcoin, and it can go down 50% in one day. Anyway, there you go. I'm rabbiting on. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. You guys be awesome. Join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat. As always, leave me a comment or two in the chat if you have a question or something you'd like me to cover. And this thing's a podcast as well, so if you miss it or you want to recap on it, you can watch it on YouTube. You can grab it on Spotify and iTunes and other things as well. So do that. Yeah, thanks, Alison. Yeah, it was great to hear those success stories. Sam filling in the last part of the great supply disaster. I tell you what, folks, you've got to get on the right side of that. If you've got the dough, it's time to go and get investing. All right, that's it, team. Wealth Coffee Chat, done and dusted. You guys be awesome. Join me tomorrow for another one. Adios. Bye for now.